Awesome. Thanks a lot for coming on the show today, Kylie. Appreciate you giving me some of your time.
Of course, Jay. We're buds. I'm happy to come and hang out with you.
I feel like I've been bugging you for a while to get you on the show. So
yeah, you have. But it's paid off. I'm here now.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. And congrats on the new album, Sequoia. I've been spinning it for the last couple days.
Great. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. How's the reception been? Or reactions?
It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been out for a week, and I put it out during Harvest Music Festival, and I live in Fredericton. So it was, sometimes when you put something out into the world like that, you put it out into the ether and you don't know who's listening to it. Mm-hmm. Some people, they keep their response to the reaction and their opinions to themselves. And sometimes it can feel very anticlimactic, but to release something during Harvest, as chaotic as that was, meant that I was on the streets with my community for like 3 days.
Okay.
And people were able to approach me and be like, I listened to it. It was great. Or my favorite song was this. And so it felt like less, it felt important. It felt monumental in a way that maybe my last one felt like I put it out there. And, it does sometimes feel like you do all this work and release day isn't anything that special. The album has to cook, and all of the great opportunities and the great shows you're going to play that come from the album are going to come, way after your release date. Mm-hmm. But the release date was special because, Harvest is like homecoming.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting you say that because like a listener who hears the album on release day doesn't understand that there's been maybe like an 18-month to like 36-month journey for the musician to get to release day. So there's this huge behind-the-scenes story that's unfolding.
That's true. They probably, listen to it and expect that this is like the truth of my heart right now. Mm-hmm. And, for the most part it is. But these are songs that I wrote in the winter of 2022, recorded it over Thanksgiving in 2022. And it takes a long time to mix a record and get it exactly how you want it and then plan. And then I got a manager this year. So I had one release strategy, and then once I had a team, that sort of got dismantled, and we made a new plan with the new resources that we had. Cool. So that's kind of why it took so long, but I'm grateful that it took so long because I was able to have the backup. Like I have a radio distributor in the States, and right now Sequoia is getting spun in San Francisco because of that. And I wouldn't have had that if all these pieces weren't in place as they are right now. So I'm feeling grateful for the divine timing that all this is. So it does take a while, and I'm hoping that my next project won't take so long. But yeah, you never know. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. So had it not taken so was that difficult when you had to make that decision to wait a little while because you knew these pieces of the puzzle were coming together? Or?
Yes, it was difficult because I wanted to present to people and to, venues and festivals what I'm capable of now.
Yeah.
So, when they're directed to my Spotify, they're hearing like a very old version of Kylie Fox, which is not what you get on the stage anymore. So for that reason, I wanted it out. Okay. But there was also a very shy and nervous part of me that was luxuriating in how long it was taking because it's a very vulnerable thing to do to, spell out what's going on in your heart and your mind and your soul and make something that you create, like your creation out into the world to get received. People are going to have opinions about it. Naturally, you make an opinion about everything that you listen to and you see and you hear and you wear and you eat. And so, it's a weird thing to put something out. But now that it's out, I'm not nervous anymore. I'm really happy with how people seem to be digging it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's interesting because like they say like a lot of great art comes from vulnerability, but then it just kind of like what you said, you get nervous to throw it out into the world. So that kind of battle between being an honest, vulnerable artist and then actually having to hit the release button.
You have to be a little bit like desensitized to it or put your guard up against it. Like I don't think I fully realize what I've done. It's not me anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not really. The songs, some of the best things that a fan could say is, I also feel like that really spoke to me. Yeah. Like once the songs are out, it's not about me. That's not like, I'm not I don't want people to listen to my music to get to know me and to like think about my life.
Okay.
That's not the point
Okay.
of music. Music is to be shared. It's community, and it's if you're truthful about what your experience is and you're precise in explaining, describing, creating images over what you're going through, someone will probably be able to connect to it if it's authentic. And yeah, I've had a couple people, for instance, Brandy Baby is a song about having your guard up and having your guard up because when you were younger, maybe you were left out or insecure, or you were kind of a creative, dorky kid and you never really fit in. And now as an adult, you seem a little cold. And I've had a couple women who've reached out to me being like, yeah, I do feel cold, but I think people misperceive me because I don't feel cold inside.
Okay. So maybe how it's different between what you're feeling inside and what you're presenting to the world.
Yeah. So I do think that there's something for everyone on this album. Well, I don't think I can go that far. I hope that people who listen to the record can find, one thing to connect with or one thing to love. I think it's naive to think that everyone's going to love everything you put out. I mean, I even have a tier and hierarchy over how I feel about the songs.
Okay.
But
what was it? So the album that came before this, Green, is it a different backing band than what's on Sequoia?
Yeah, for Green, I had it made with Dale Murray, and I had session players. At the time, I didn't have a band, so I had Jordy Comstock and Jason Votor, and then Dale.
Okay. And
they were fantastic. I had reference tracks. I had a very precise vision, and the songs were done. And so they were sent all of my notes. And when we got together in Dale's house in Nova Scotia, they had come up with their own parts, and we played the songs for the first time on the days that they were recorded. And it was magical. I was feeding off of all that. It was great energy. And Jordy even came, and one song he recorded his drums on pots and pans.
Oh, really
the
cool.
The song I See Green, those are pots and pans that he's playing on.
Cool.
And that was a great process, and I did love that time. By the time I was making Sequoia, I had a band that I was, meeting with once a week, and I was able to bring my new songs to, and it really opened my eyes to how other people are seeing music and colored how I am musical, and everything is better when you've got different ideas. These songs are now the perfect recipe of the five of us, plus our producer, Daniel Ledwell. So we were able to flush out the songs in our rehearsals, go to the studio for a weekend over Thanksgiving, know exactly what we were going to lay down, and then everything that we added on top that was kind of spontaneous or unplanned was where the magic and the fun really came in. I didn't anticipate putting horns on most of the songs, but coaching a spontaneous horn section through the songs was awesome. Just great creative energy, really great back and forth. All of the decisions were getting made so fast because we were all kind of in that flow state and, having some ciders in the studio. There was a pot of chili on. It was just cozy. We were on the lake in Lake Echo where Dan lives. And so they were both different experiences, but it was nice going in confident that I knew exactly how the songs were going to come out. For the most part. Okay,
for the most part. And obviously playing them with that band gave you a chance to tighten them up before getting into the studio.
Yeah, and I can now play them with my band after. When we play shows, we can sort of recreate to the best of our abilities with five people what's on the record.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. And I think it's in Spend the Morning With Me, there's this beautiful moment where you kind of trade off solos. It's like a flute solo, there's even a bass solo, and you kind of do a vocal, it sounds like an improv vocal solo.
Well, everyone in my band are such great players.
Yeah.
And that song is so fun live because it gives everyone an opportunity to shine. And that's how I wanted to record it. We did have a conversation over is this song going to get played on the radio? It's 5 minutes long and everyone gets a huge solo. And it's I knew I wanted to keep the solos, whatever, radio.
Yeah.
Of course, it is getting played. It's got put on the East Coast Music Hour this weekend.
Nice.
So, I'm glad I stuck to my guns on that because like Cam just rips on that bass.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
it is a nice moment to breathe. And it's a groove that like you can really live in. Like it's fun to play live because you can see everyone's chins kind of going up and down.
Yeah.
It's
one of my favorite tracks on the record. I
cool.
think. Yeah.
And I think we made it sound like the morning. I had someone in a review said like it really does sound like the sun's coming up, and that was important for me. I really wanted to make a record that you could put on and make breakfast to. Okay. I actually say the word eggs twice in the record, and I didn't do that intentionally. And our producer Dan kind of commented like, "Eggs." Like, were you putting the eggs as a lyric in your song? But yeah, it works. I think it works.
Yeah. I didn't pick out those exact lyrics, but I'll keep an eye out. Ear out for eggs. That's funny. What about singles? Like, how do you decide which songs to put out as a single?
It's kind of a gut thing and a spirited thing. Like Brandy Baby and Confetti are the more rockin' tunes. They sound the most mainstream. They're the ones we end the set with and start the set with. Okay. And you just kind of knew they're maybe the less, in a way, like creative and obscure songs. And then we chose Alberta because I just think Alberta's the best song. It's the oldest song on the record, but it's really like stood the test of time for me. I wrote it when I was 20, and I recorded it first here in St. John. Actually, no, that's a lie. I recorded it first at Mount A. Matt Allison does the Conduct Becoming CD every year. Okay. So cool. I recorded it actually at CHMA with Steve Buckley, and we recorded that song for that CD. And then I recorded it on my very first EP called Balcony EP that I did with Corey Bonnevie. Mm-hmm. And but I always played it live, and people always were relating to the sentiment of an East Coaster needing to go west to work and being homesick. Mm-hmm. And once the band and I started playing it, we all got to this great arrangement with 3-part harmony and a really nice organ. And I knew I had to give it another try because I was just growing as an artist. Yeah. My standards were getting higher and higher, and the quality of music was getting better. And the song is so good, I wanted to put it out again. Okay. Yeah, it fits the record perfectly, in my opinion. Yeah. So that gives you, you got Alberta, you got Manitoba. So you have to write a song called Saskatchewan just to kind of do the Prairies trilogy. I think maybe once I go to Saskatchewan. Actually, I've never been to Manitoba. Again, with me writing a song about something I've heard on CBC, mm-hmm. There was forest fires going on in Manitoba at the time. At a time when forest fires didn't seem so headlining, or they were still making headlines. Maybe I should say that. Everyone was like struck by this forest fire, mm-hmm. and so that's why I wrote Manitoba. And now, actually, Sequoia was inspired by a forest fire in California when a sequoia tree was on fire, and firefighters were up through the night trying to save this one beautiful tree because, humans love old, big, beautiful things, but maybe we don't take care of those things as well as we should unless they're like really compromised. Yeah. But yeah, I do. I have a lot of inspiration from what I hear in the news and my dreams.
Cool. Your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a dream journal? Like, do you wake up and write down ideas?
No, I should, because I have very vivid dreams that sometimes affect me during my day. If I have a bad dream, I'll have like a spooky feeling, or I try not to get too premonitions. Is that a word? Superstitious over my dreams. Yeah. But for the song Ming Mei, I had a friend who passed away to suicide. And she appeared in my dream. And she was the coolest, artsiest, outgoing person. She had this crazy lion hair, and she was always making crafts. And she came to me in my dream, and we were somewhere in the university, and she was making macrame for a course or something. We were all learning macrame from her. And again, I woke up affected by the dream, and then I got this melody about Ming Mei making macrame. And so now I have the song Ming Mei that I made with, I took some of her poetry and some of the lines of her poetry and put it into the song. Oh, cool. I kind of went through her Facebook, kind of maybe a morbid thing to do, but her Facebook account was still active. And I went through kind of her life, and I tried to like just capture her in images, and I feel like we collaborated on the song. And there's been times I've played it and the wind will pick up and I'll feel that we've made this song together.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. It sounds like a nice tribute to her, really.
Yeah, thank you. It's a special one, but yeah.
In that song in particular, I love when the band, like it all kind of kicks in. But not only that, but it's about the next song too. Like once that huge outro, that whole huge section happens, it goes in Armadillo, which is just kind of like stripped right down. It's probably like the sparsest, is that a word? Sparsest song on the record?
For sure. It's just me. It's the only song we did live off the floor, and it's just me and my guitar.
Okay. So that's anyway, I thought that was a nice flow from such a huge peak or something down.
Yeah, that was intentional.
That was
I mean,
intentional?
you want to take a listener on a ride. I love albums. If I hear someone puts out an album, I'm way more apt to put the album on over a single.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I don't want to finick with my phone so much to like keep putting on,
Yeah.
But and I understand that artists are putting those songs in a particular order, and they've all been created at a particular time, and it was an intentional. You want to kind of bring things up, bring things down, say a couple of fun things here, kind of make it somber, and then bring it home at the end. I feel like the song "Certain" that we end the record with sort of roots the whole thing together.
Yeah, cool. And I really enjoy the flute too. I think we should shout out the flute work on the record.
Big props to Kelly Waterhouse on the flute. She does it all, folks.
Multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah. She is a utility tool.
Okay.
And so much more. I mean, she does backing vocals. She does piano. She's doing all the organ bits, saxophone. But her flute is show-stopping.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really like, especially I think it's track 3, Flush. For me, like that's where the album, like the first 2 tracks, of course, are great, but the third, there's something about the vibe, the way Flush kicks in, and the way everything's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, yeah.
Yeah. It was Dan that was like, this song is a Sesame Street song from the 70s. Okay. And at first I scratched my head, but then I started to understand what he meant. It's just, you can't help but like bop around to it or do this big stupid like walk like you're a cartoon character. There's something so like bright and yellow and sunny and goofy about that song.
That's funny. I guess once you said that, there's that video like of Stevie Wonder playing Superstitious or Superstition on Sesame Street. I guess I could see your band. I could see that now. Like you guys hanging out with the Sesame Street Muppets playing that tune.
And we made a very goofy video for that song. It's not out yet. We're going to put it out this fall.
Awesome. Okay.
The song is about my fiance, Ryan, who's also our drummer.
Okay.
And it's basically a list of all the things that are kind of quirky about him.
Okay.
Like it's not a list about, wow, you're so great for this reason and this reason and this reason. It's a list of things that are like, oh, you sleep in and you got all these tattoos. Like they're just like the funny things that make him him.
Yeah.
And then, I'll take the best and all the rest. So we've made a puppet that looks just like Ryan. And for anyone listening, Ryan is the kind of guy who dresses the same every day. Okay. Another quirky thing about him, he's got kind of a costume. He's a cartoon character. He wears black cutoff shirt. He's got sleeves. He's got a backwards black hat, and he's got a goatee and a bun.
Okay.
And so he was very easy to like replicate via puppet. So the whole video is me and Puppet Ryan like going through our day. Okay. And then the video ends with the whole band playing the song and we're all in like our human form. But then Puppet Ryan is on the drums, just like banging away on the drums. Okay. So real Ryan is never in the video. He's just a puppet the whole time.
He's a puppet. That's funny. He's puppetable.
Yes.
He's easily puppetable.
Yeah.
So that's coming out this fall.
It's coming out this fall.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's another one of my favorite songs. So I'm excited to see it.
That's my favorite song.
That's your favorite song?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably that, Ming May, and those are tied for the 2, and probably Morning with You. That would probably be the 3.
Cool. I like that. Yeah. That's a good answer.
Yeah. That's an approve of that answer. Let's talk about the shows you got coming up. So you're heading out to Ontario, right?
Yeah, I'm going to start driving towards the center of the country on Tuesday.
Okay.
The first show's in Woodstock. We're doing 9 shows. It's a tour called the Gold Dust Women Tour with Laurie Yates and Paige Warner.
Sweet.
Both great songwriters from Ontario.
Okay.
And we're hitting Toronto at the Cameron House on October 3rd. We're doing Ottawa at the Rainbow on September 30th. Shout out to anyone who knows Joe Tunney. I have a Saturday night off so I can go to his 30th birthday party in Ottawa. And then I'll be hitting some more rural places around Ontario, some wineries, which I'm excited about. It's nice to tour by myself sometimes.
It's like a singer-songwriter tour?
Singer-songwriter tour, and which is a different type of thing, but it's more intimate. And when you're by yourself, you can be spontaneous. You can, you're one person. You can like very easily get around, sleep on a couch, say yes to like, okay, sure, I'll come for breakfast instead of having to like, wonder how everyone's doing. Touring with the band is another awesome thing because we get to share the experience. And if we have a bad show, we have a bad show together. And if we have a great show, you get to share that high. But they're two great. I'm lucky that I'm able to do both.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice option. When you talk about being spontaneous, is that even like song listing, the songs you're going to play that night, or switching things up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you feel it out in the moment?
For sure.
Yeah.
You can if people are really into some of the slower stuff and they're really listening, then you'll kind of lean into that. If it's more of a party atmosphere, you want to kind of lean into the party.
Okay.
And you're I think artists can have a difficult time finding the balance between making sure our art is being heard and serving the show. It's tough sometimes to serve the show when you want to go play your songs that really matter to you and that you've worked really hard on.
Yeah.
And every artist will pay their dues where they have to sit in a bar and they're like, oh no, I've been horribly programmed. Nobody cares about these folk songs. They want to hear Jolene and Wagon Wheel. And you have to make the call. Like, do I give them what they want and serve the show? Or do I annoy them and continue playing sad folk songs I wrote?
So does that mean you have those songs in your back pocket? Like you've made that decision, like I got to play. I think most of us do have those for those emergencies. The shows I have coming up, I think they will be more listening rooms, but there have been times where you have to pull out the whole Sweet Caroline, dun, dun, hate my life. That's funny. That took me back to I used to play in a tech metal band, so that didn't really happen except for this one show in London, Ontario, where someone would not stop screaming for Walk This Way by Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And we didn't know it, and there's no way we were going to play it, and the crowd was not like, they did not want to hear tech metal. The
best thing is when someone recommends a song that you know. Yeah. And then you pretend like, okay, I got this. I'll play that for you. And then you get to like slay that song perfectly. And they're like, wow, you're so good.
I pulled it out of nowhere. Yeah,
no, I've been playing it for years.
That's awesome. So maybe we can talk briefly just before we wrap it up, Kylie, about how it's been working with a manager. Because I know that's one of those moments where a lot of early acts or early bands or early artists, they think, okay, I need a publicist, I need a booking agent, I need a manager. But you were at it for probably, 6 or 7 years before you started working with a manager?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that just in
I've been my own manager for a long time. And I think a lot of us wait for that fairy tale show where the right person sees you play and wants to take a risk on you or... that's what happened. I was playing at Zero's arcade bar with my band for Music New Brunswick Week last November. Cool. And Joe was there with his wife, saw us play. He has a whole career of managing huge acts. He's managed Glass Tiger. He's toured with Tina Turner and Journey with Glass Tiger, managed the Headstones for 9 years. He's currently managing the King. So it's just me and the Kings on his roster right now. And working with him has been really nice. We talk on the phone almost every day. I talk to him almost as much as I talk to my mother because we're constantly planning. And having a manager is so much more than having someone plan for you. It's having someone looking out for you. And Joe is like, the more we're working together, the more he's very observant on how I work and what I need. And he knows that I can get overwhelmed really easily and I really need to schedule. And Sometimes Ryan is more organized than me, and he'll put something into Ryan's hands.
Okay.
So he'll make sure it gets done because artists are a product, but we're also human. And you have to find a good balance between the two to make sure that everything's getting done, but also songs are getting written and she's going to be good and feeling awesome for this show. She's going to have her car fixed for the tour. It's like, it's a very full-time gig having a manager. And I'm really enjoying the experience. We went to Canadian Music Week together in June, and what a privilege it was to sit in the car with him and listen to all the stories of his years of putting on shows and learning how to drive a tour bus and working with huge bands. He's got, he could talk for hours and hours, and you'd be right on his lap listening to every word. I feel like I'm in good hands with him.
Okay. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It always is interesting to think about the marriage between the art and the business side of things that inevitably has to happen if you want to take it to a career level. But it's just one of those dances, I guess you have to dance.
Yeah. Well, and right now he's doing a lot, because I don't have a booking agent right now. We're looking for one if anyone's listening. But so he's taking on a lot of the booking. Okay. So before I had Joe, I did all the booking. I did all the social media. I did all my poster making. I did all anything that was going up on Facebook, on my social media, on my website. I was doing all of my own networking. Okay. It was everything. So now he's taking on a lot of that, and it's been a little bit hard to step back from it because I'm so used to being on top of everything. And anyway, so he's doing my booking now. And the other day I said to him, "Oh, is that show on this date like gonna go through for real?" He's like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, "No, oh, never mind, nothing." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a family dinner." And then he comes back with, "Oh, I'm sorry, you want a music career and a life too?" And shut me up. I'll have to reschedule that dinner.
Pick one or the other. Yeah. Well, it's always fascinates me when an artist or someone has someone in their life who will give them bad news or whatever, or like tell them what's wrong or what isn't going well, as opposed to, because it's easy to find people who will tell you this is good, that's great, keep doing that. But I always find it interesting when someone finds someone who will tell them the things they don't want to hear. Does Joe do that at all? If I'm explaining myself,
I can't think of any moment where he's like really said something to make me go like, ouch.
I don't mean an ouch. I kind of just mean the example you just said, like, like you have to pick and choose a moment.
Oh yeah. No, I trust him. He's really honest, and he's got feedback, and I take a lot of his feedback because I do trust him. I mean, he's broken lots of artists, and he knows how things work in the industry for real, not on like a whimsical romantic way, like for real. It's cutthroat, and it's a lot different than even I know for right now. But he also gets the emails of like, no, Kylie's not a good fit for this festival right now. Okay. And so he's kind of like the shield between, I guess, some of the rejection, which is nice, but he doesn't pass a lot of that on. And it's never negative. He does know how to talk to me in a way that's like, well, we'll just get them next time. Wasn't the time, but next time will be the time. Yeah. Like, so yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So it's a supportive way. Yeah. That's great. That's interesting to think about the rejection, because the rejection can be overwhelming if you are the artist, and usually artists are sensitive people in general. If you're dealing with all the rejection, it can get to the point where it just wears you down.
Right. Well, to be honest, Jay, he didn't want Spend the Morning with me to be on the record. But I overrode him. Okay. And I'm glad I did, because it's one of your favorite songs. Yeah,
I'm glad you did too. Sorry, Joe. Yeah. Okay. That's good though. It's good to have someone who you can have those moments with, those moments of, and I like to imagine that moments of tension like that, when there's a business and art relationship, it ends up working out for the better. I'm sure that's not always the case, but that's what I'll romantically believe.
Yeah, well, it's working out. It's working out for us right now, and he's got a team with him. Like, he's got a woman that he's hired to do all social media, and so she's making all the posters. She's making all the Facebook events. Like, that is now off my hands, which is a blessing. Nice. His wife is doing all of my like mailing things out, okay, and his daughter and son-in-law, like, they're at the shows, kind of, they're the runners at the shows, making sure like things are going smoothly, like backstage, making sure we have everything we need. Like it's kind of a family affair with him. And it's much more than just him too. So it's cool.
Okay. That's very cool. All right. Maybe last thing we'll do is shout out the show coming up October 24th here in St. John, right? With Matt Minglewood.
Yeah. So Joe will be there, and he'll have the team behind stage, and we'll be playing songs from Sequoia.
Full band?
Full band.
Okay. Very cool.
So maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah. All those listeners, go grab tickets now. I'm assuming on sale.
Yeah. And you know what else is on sale? This is a different thing entirely, but I'm also a Dolly Parton impersonator, and we're doing the Kenny and Dolly Once Upon a Christmas show at the Imperial on December 8th. I think it's the 8th.
Okay.
I'm quite certain it's the 8th.
Okay.
And I'm quite certain that it's almost sold out.
Okay.
So you might want to go get your tickets for that right away. If that is your favorite Christmas album, I'll be in a Dolly wig, and Kenny and I will sing Christmas songs to you in December.
That's very cool. Yeah, so grab those tickets December 8th and October 24th.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for coming on the show, Kylie. I appreciate you giving me some of your time.
Nice to chat with you, Jay.
Yeah, it's been great. And I'm going to hit play on Ming Mei.
Sweet.
Have a good one.
She is the sand dunes in Antigua, side where the palm trees in Aruba. She's teaching veggie in the mountains of Hong Kong. She moves slowly for everyone. She is a magpie in the morning, the soil for our herbs and sage is growing. She's topless in the window, soaking up the sun, recharging it for everyone. Makes macrame. That was nothing but a dream to me. She said, make a song, 'cause I wanna dance, and I finally have the space. Let's connect and let's create. Oh hey, you got your pics developed, must say, looks like you loaded up the tape. Our friend will follow in. Now she's vibration with a high cause, still is the boss, applesauce, still host a dinner party for us soon. Wish I could read from the moon. Ming Mei makes macrame in memory. That was nothing but a dream to me. She said, make a song, 'cause I wanna dance, and I finally have the space. Let's connect and let's create. This is all performance art. This is all our dream. Thank you for your company. Thank you for your poetry, oh so sweet. Thank you for your cool breeze in the trees, the songs of all our birdies. Ming Mei makes macrame in a memory. That was nothing but a dream to me. Ming Mei makes macrame in a memory. That was